the amount of paperwork you gotta deal with when you go independent can be staggering. You know, I've been running around like a headless chicken this past few days, and I'm getting closer and closer to the launch date. And some of you might have guessed, especially those people that found the $1 for the early preview of what's to come, is that yes, Captain Sergei is going on his own. So far I still have all the signs, but I booked an appointment for tomorrow to put the new signs and remove these ones. And then also I'm replacing the tires. I already found a guy that wants to buy these tires for $250 each Canadian, and I'm getting the proper size for $500 each. But I'm gonna ask the tire shop, because they told me that they can buy these back from me as well, but I doubt it'll be $250 per tire. But you know, these are brand new tires, right? Look at the tread, you know. Rims are awful, but right now I don't want to spend, you know, I don't want to spend, what is that? I'm pretty sure I didn't hit anything, but this rim doesn't look exactly straight. Hold on. Yeah, I don't like these rims, but like I said, you know, like I've been saying, I might trade the truck in if I can swing it. And so now I sign up for a load board, so I'll be dealing with brokers and shippers directly. And I like dealing with, call me crazy, I like hauling, you know, big heavy loads. Just, you know, as they say, tell me what makes you feel important and I'll tell you what kind of person you are. So I'm the kind of person that wants to haul unique and big loads because I like them, and then also you guys like them, right? Like the loads I haul, you've been seeing that quite often they're very unusual. And so with that being said, this flip axle is not gonna spend another day in this ditch over here. Okay, so yesterday like there was a mechanic over here in this parking lot. He was renting a space in that big building, and we got together. We worked as a, you know, as a good team, because he has a forklift with long forks, and all he did was just pick up from this end, put his forks in here, and I would put these blocks under his forks so that he doesn't scratch stuff over there. And he would just, you know, I move my truck, he would just put it in, put the pins in. But turns out that guy is gone. I guess the business was not as good, or maybe the rent was too high, so he left. And so I had to ask the guy that has a crane. There's a business, they do you know, signs installation, like Christmas lights and stuff like that. And so he has a small crane on the chassis of a truck. But actually with that one it's more difficult to mount this flip axle, because, you know, it moves in like an unpredictable way as compared to when you use a forklift. But so anyway, the guy was busy, he was here, I gave him $60, I said Canadian, so 48 US. I said, please, I need this on the trailer, because also when I'm going to the tire shop to replace the front tires, and of course I want them to check all the tires, because now it's been getting colder, so the tires are losing pressure. Especially this one has been sitting, I don't know how long. I feel like I have spider webs on my lights now. And so I want them to check that. Yeah, and also I'm replacing that tire over there, the one that's was going slowly bad, like with irregular wear. So that one is actually cheap, much cheaper than that one. Is like, they found, I said, give me the cheapest one, I don't care, as long as it's $275, 70, 22.5, and they found it's like $350 Canadian, you know. And I still have that one. That's my old Stia tire. See, like the tread is still okay in most places, but nobody wants it because it's a 12R 22.5, and that's what I need on the front. But only one tire is good, and that rim is still good, but I cannot use it. So I'm getting some real 12R 22.5s. I think they're Continentals. They look like drive tire, but like I said, I don't care. This truck, I'm hoping, will be gone by the end of the year. So that was one thing I did besides the paperwork. So basically I'm getting the truck ready, and I wanted to replace the shocks. Call the Wabash Trailers, a trailer shop I trust, and they said don't worry about this one because my first two axles have these shocks on them, right? But the trailer is only 14 months old. I got it last August, but it looks, of course, it looks awful. I'm gonna find a truck wash. I'm gonna clean everything up, and I bought, if you remember, I do it occasionally. I bought a couple of cans, actually 3 cans of Rust black paint, and that's why you always want to have a black trailer. You don't have a orange trailer or gray. You want to have a black trailer. You go to your friendly neighborhood car parts place, you grab a can of black paint, and you're all set. Because you see over here, so the paint quality, by the way, on Fontaine trailers is definitely better than on Kaufman, but after 6 months, or I think this started doing this after like 6 months, whereas on Kaufman it was gone pretty much after 3 months. I don't even think they used any foundation, you know, any primer or something. I don't know. But eventually you still lose it, right? Especially here on ramps where there's lots of you know, wear and tear. And I still didn't fix this one. It really makes me feel bad. It's when I had a heavy excavator and some idiot he went sideways a little bit. You see, and this, all the weight went in here. And what I might do is what I did on the Kaufman. The guy suggested that I put a plate in here, and so he welded the plate like it was, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or 0.3, you know, and it made this part so much stronger because that's where all this tear happens, right? But it does look much thicker, actually. You know what? You see over here, and then compare here. There is a plate over there. You see, that's another difference between Kaufman and Fontaine. It looks like, yeah, this part is thicker than it was on the Kaufman, but these corners are not very strong. So I don't know. Maybe I definitely wanna, you know, do that. I think they can warm it up and just bend it up, and maybe put a maybe like not like this, but maybe put one across. You know, just weld a piece of steel in here. Lots of wear and tear, and you see that's what happens when you don't connect properly. Oh boy, but you know, what do you do? So I cannot believe the trailer is only 1 year old. It already looks like a piece of, you know, POS, but hopefully it'll look much better once it's clean and once I paint it. You know, just fix up, not gonna repaint everything, just, you know, the bad spots. And another thing I did, like the truck now has 305,000 kilometers, and that seat, you know, never go cheap on seats on the truck. Buy the best seat you can get with a lot of like more than one cylinder, you know, suspension. And I noticed that recently I've been feeling very uncomfortable sitting like sideways, you know, like my spine was bent towards the right. It's because, you know, most of the time we spend in the curb lane, right? So the truck drives a little bit tilted, and if it's a cheap seat, it starts sagging, you know, and you end up sitting like this, you know. And it just occurred to me that, wait a second, I have this pretty much brand new trailer when one of my fans from Australia, it was like a love story that never happened, right? There was a lady that kept writing me, and then she said, okay, I want to come over, I want to go for a ride in your truck, but I felt so bad because I really went cheap with the seats on this truck, because you know I wanted to get a cheap truck at the cheapest possible. Even this one was 146 Canadian, right? $1,000. You know, big payments, 20 grand down. Jesus. But anyway, so I put air ride seat on the driver's side, but on the right it was a regular seat, no air ride. You know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just a basic dead seat, you know. And because of this lady, I went and I got a nice seat, which was actually nicer than my driver's seat, you know. And now I'm driving like this, and I'm thinking, hey, you know, I'm starting a new business. I'm really uncomfortable driving, and why don't I just use that seat that's sitting there and nobody's using it? Because that lady never came. Maybe I got a seat that was too cheap. Maybe I should have gotten a, you know, real leather, because I don't think this is leather. So this morning I swapped them. So this is the new seat, and that's the old one. I don't think this is leather, but it's very soft and so much more comfortable. And look inside over here. It has one big cylinder, and then it has one big cylinder and one small cylinder. I don't know why it doesn't have one on the other side, by the way. Interesting. Yeah, my truck is a mess because I had a lot of stuff in here. You can see here, there's this guy was in such a rush. He even forgot to attach safety belts. But over here, you have one cylinder. Then there's a spot for another one over here. You see? 1, 2. I don't know what happened. Like, you can never trust these mechanics, you know. But anyway, so this seat, what I'm trying to say is that this seat is a much better seat than this one. Like on this one, let's go check this out. Oh, it did have one cylinder. I mean, there was a cylinder as well, but it looks like, see, like there's one in the middle, okay, and one on the side. And actually that's where it started sagging, because this spot was like the seat was this way, right? The controls were on the right hand side, and so this part started sagging. I think maybe this shock was bad, I don't know. But yeah, you see, this seat definitely has well, I thought it had only one cylinder. Actually, it's not that different, but I don't know, maybe later on I'll stop and ask him. I'll stop and ask him. What happened to the other cylinder? But also, when I went in the truck, the guy didn't connect the safety belt over here. You see, like this part he connected, which just hooks up to the seat, but this part, which is actually the safety belt, you know, I put it in on the other side, and it just, you know, the bottom was not connected, right? Maybe they do use just one cylinder. I don't know what's going on here. And he said he had to use some new bolts because they were all corroded. So anyway, so what else has been happening is that you know, going independent, it's not that bad when you only deal with one country. But in my case, since Canada has a weird freight situation that by the way, that's 401 over there. Hopefully, where I'll be I'll be on, next week. And I'm recording with Panasonic. Might as well use it. It's sitting in my bag. Everything is with GoPro, so from now on I'll try to record more with this Panasonic camera. I still have the connector I can use on the back of the truck, on the back of the trailer, and this camera is very light, so it can still work. So yeah, I was saying that when you are dealing with only one country, it's relatively simple, especially in the States where everything is by email. Like in Canada, some applications are still you still have to do by mail or fax, and I don't trust fax because the quality can be bad. It's it's not readable. But so far, gee, I've been dealing with like for example cross-border. To cross the border, you gotta register with Canada Customs, and you gotta register with the US Customs. And by registering, I mean that you fill out a special form, and on the US side you pay $74 a year US, and they assign you a carrier code, and then they email a copy of that to the US Customs. So US Customs now know that Sergei Dratchev is getting ready to launch. And then on the Canada side, you can also do it by email if you choose to be non-bonded, because for simplicity's sake I just went with non-bonded so far, which means that I cannot do a load and bond. Let's say something that goes to Baltimore and goes on a ship, but I can always get a single trip permit that allows me to get a bond, but that's just another complicating factor. But of course you gotta be bonded, because sometimes, like even here, this Ritchie Brothers local auction, I was checking on the U-Ship website, and yeah, sometimes they actually ask, must be a bonded carrier, goes to the port. So, but if you're non-bonded, that's all you do. You go back to the Canada website there, and there's a special application that says one trip bonded something. They give you I guess they give you like a one trip permit or something. So you gotta have that and then you call a customs broker to get a bond. So no big deal. If I find a very good load, that pays a lot of money, then yeah, we'll do it. But for now, I just want to keep it as simple as possible and hit the road as fast as possible, right? And then you gotta sign up for a website. There's a single website that deals with this called Border Connect, and I would have signed up for that long time ago, but I went there to register, and they say please enter your SCAC code, US carrier code, and enter your Canada Customs code. But now I received US was much faster. US like 24 hours, and they email you everything. This is your code, this is your registration, proof of your registration, and you gotta renew it. But Canada took like 2 or 3 days, which is surprising since we have no people in here. US is so much more heavily populated, and yet their workaround times are actually faster. And I did have an issue with actually CVR here in Ontario, the Ontario kind of like safety registration. Like we don't have authority anymore. They used to have it back in I think 70s and stuff like that. Then they kind of like kicked it, just like what they're trying to do in the States, where they say that now they will try to eliminate MC number, which is authority number, motor carrier authority, and people will just have US DOT number, which is your safety record registration, right? It means that you're registered, people can find you on the web, see how good or bad you are, you know, how many accidents you had, stuff like that. And so in Ontario, Canada, all we have is this CVR, Commercial Vehicle Operator Registration. And just like the same as DOT in the States, you pay some money up front and they issue this loan number, and you don't even, in Canada, you don't even have to put it on the door. All my signs will just have my legal name, my trade name, US dot number, and my town name, and that's it. Where I'm not even required to have that. I'm only doing that so that when I do a load, people can see where I'm from, so maybe they'll be more interested in contacting me, right, for a load. But the best part about this is that I'm no longer connected to one carrier. You know, I don't have to deal with people I don't like. I can go anywhere. Like sometimes even here, like the lady I'm renting this parking space from, like once she emailed me, she says, "Oh, Sergei, could you do us a favor? Our truck, you know, they still have like one truck. She used to own a trucking company. Now she just has one truck that sometimes goes on the road." And she called me and she said that, actually emailed me, she said, "Our truck broke down. Could you, you know, go and bring it back, get it and bring it back to the yard?" And I said, first of all, I was busy, but secondly, I said, "I'm sorry, I cannot do it because I'm not independent, right? Like, we have to go through, you know, the premium the company, and if they don't like the price, they will not do it, you know, because it's their insurance, it's their plate." But now, I can deal with anybody. Like, anybody who has a load, I can do inside Ontario. In Canada, I only registered for Ontario. I'm not gonna go to Quebec, so je ne m'en parle français. Screw this. I'm not gonna go to Western Canada. Ontario inside, that's one lane, kind of like what they say, a lane, right? What's your lane? So my lane is local original loads inside Ontario, and Ontario is huge, you know. Like, I can pick up a load somewhere in, you know, Windsor and take it to Quebec border. That's 500 miles. But then if you go north, you can go for like another 2 days and you're still inside Ontario, you know. There's lots of work here, but it's not enough. In the summer, it's okay, but in winter they say that you still have to go to US, you know, because much more loads across the border. And so I registered for all US and just Ontario. So that's gonna be my lane. Specializing in heavy haul requiring 8 axles. I set up my website, just like a one-page website with my contact info where I put some pictures. And so what else I need now? So I got my DOT number, CVR number. I got my border crossing numbers. Oh, so today I'm gonna go. I found a shop. You have to go to a specialized printer that can print these barcodes. You know, the barcode, that's where your carrier code is, and you have to stick that on your paperwork when you fax it to the customs broker, you know. If you don't do it and they catch you, it's a big fine, you know. They like doing that, like, do this or else, you know, and that's like $1,000 fine. Like, when it comes to the border, it's mistakes can be very costly. And so I'm gonna do that today. It's $100 Canadian for 1,000 stickers. You know, that's a racket, right? I should be in printing. So once that's done, I sign up for Border Connect so I can set up my own ACE ACI. And I already signed up for Load Board. I signed up for U-Ship. I gave them my MC number. They checked it. Now it's verified. Everything is good. I'm good to go. And now basically I'm just waiting for the plate. They have my application, and I thought I would go for like 3 months because I found on the application it says choose your date, like what's the term you're applying for, and you can choose either 3 months or 12 months. And of course I chose 3 months because you have to prepay, and it's a lot of money. It's a few $1,000. And now she emails me this morning, this lady from this IRP office. She says, "Oh, new fleets, new carriers cannot apply for 3 months. You gotta be 12 months. So why is that? Why does it say 3 months then? What, I can renew for 3 months after? Funny anyway. It's like probably like $3,500 Canadian, you know, for a year. So once again, I'm selling everything, you know, like whatever I can find. Yeah, I did make a lot of money, these last couple of months. Somebody asked about damage. No, it was not an accident, but I did have something on a load I was carrying, and I had to pay money to fix it. So it was just a costly mistake. So, and that's why now I'm kind of like a little bit. That's why I want to go on the road as fast as possible. So once I have the plate, yeah, I'll need to wait for the stickers. Like these darn stickers can take, they said, 2 or 3 business days, And then I already booked an appointment with the decal guy, so they're gonna remove this, put new ones on. I have IFTA, so I'm just gonna replace this, right? I applied for these guys, HUT, but it has not been. I gotta remove this because this is not mine anymore, right? But I have a receipt in my truck, so if they stop me, I'll just say, hey, I applied. But I'll check my mailbox today. I'm still gonna be stuck here probably for another week, so I just hope this will arrive. And also I was waiting for my like these guys, HUT, they don't require your plate number, but I tried to apply for Kentucky number, and those guys require your plate number. So now I registered my profile over there on the website, but I didn't finish the application, so now waiting for the plates. So basically everything is hanging in the balance because of these plates and the stickers and the decal, right? And so yeah, I'm gonna put new numbers, new unit number on the truck, and I'm gonna put new unit number on the trailer. And because my flip axle is a separate axle, it's a separate trailer actually, because it has its own license plate, I'm gonna put a separate number on that one. So you'll see what it is tomorrow. Okay, so that was a quick update. So thanks to everybody for sticking with me this long. Hopefully now things will become a bit more interesting, because I'll have much more freedom and hopefully much more money. I'm gonna stop by Canadian Tire and check out those shovels, because some truckers, there's so much money, you cannot just use your hands, you have to use a shovel. Shovel them inside the bag, and then take a bag on your shoulder and take it to your bank. That would definitely make them happy. So from Cambridge, Ontario, this is Sergei Dratchev, Heavy Haul Episode 1. Thanks for watching.